Pokemon Legends ZA is going to be coming out in 2025. So we have a long time to speculate and discuss what we think the story is going to be for Pokemon Legends ZA. Now, the interesting thing about this game is it's solely based in Lumio City. Now, there's no confirmation that we're going to be able to go outside of the city, so there's a few different storylines that I think could be happening and we could be exploring, but for the most part, I believe we're going to go back to the past, potentially on a different timeline to when the ultimate weapon succeeded and destroyed the rest of Kalos. Now, if we're just in Lumio City, it does make sense that we could be in like a post-apocalyptic world where the outside of Lumio City is destroyed and all of the Pokemon and people now live in Lumio City. This could mean that AZ makes his return from Pokemon X and Y, and he was one of my favorite characters back in X and Y, and a very interesting one. We could potentially see AZ's Floette come back as well, and this could be before the ultimate weapon or just after in a timeline where the results were completely different. Now, obviously, the Great Pokemon War was a very interesting timeline in the Pokemon franchise, something that we've never touched in Pokemon games before. So could this potentially be something that we do touch in Pokemon Legends ZA, or something that we learn more about? Another potential storyline that we could face in Pokemon Legends ZA is a storyline around Mega Evolution. We could be going back before Mega Evolution and helping the professor discover Mega Evolution and also using Mega Stones for the first time. Now, could be potentially how we get a bunch of new Mega Pokemon in the game, or we could revisit Mega Evolution and see some of our old favorite Mega Evolutions return to the game. Pokemon like Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur getting their Mega Evolutions for the first time would be quite interesting, and quite an interesting story for the trainer to go down. Now, obviously, I don't believe we're going to be having to complete a full Pokedex, as we're just based in Lumio City, and in my opinion, I don't feel like Lumio City is going to be big enough to just have a full Pokedex and full areas where wild Pokemon are going to be roaming around. So this could be a very refined Pokedex, potentially maybe 100-ish Pokemon, and then majority of those could have Mega Evolutions. We could be seeing a lot of battle storylines, maybe an Elite Four, maybe a Battle League, maybe some sort of gym challenge, but on a smaller scale, because we could tie this back to the fact that the Ultimate Weapon storyline could potentially have gone wrong for AZ, and he could have destroyed the whole world outside of Lumio City, meaning everyone had to come into the one city and the one area to live together. Lumios in the Pokemon X and Y games were quite big. In order for Kalos to kind of expand, I believe maybe the rest of the world could have maybe been destroyed by the ultimate weapon, and therefore Lumios was able to expand from what we saw in X and Y. But then when thinking about that, I feel like my wires are crossed a little bit, because this may not be the same world that we visited in the X and Y games. This could be a completely different Kalos region. Like I said, one where AZ was successful with the ultimate weapon, and one that destroyed the landscape outside of Lumio City. It's going to be really interesting to see how this all works, because some of the imagery we've seen in the trailer looks a little bit futuristic, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense to go to the future, because I feel like Kalos would be completely safe, because we did defeat AZ in X and Y, and we did prevent the ultimate weapon from firing again. But at the same time, if this is a different storyline, potentially this could be a futuristic Kalos where things did go badly and our trainer wasn't there for the story. Now, I know this is a lot of mumbo jumbo and I've been just yapping, but in my head this makes a lot of sense. We could be in a post-apocalyptic Kalos where our trainer wasn't in the story to begin with, and AZ was able to make the weapon, and Lysandra was able to get his wish, and Lumios is the only city that's left in Kalos. Outside of this idea, I really don't have too much else. We could potentially be seeing some sort of Legends of Arceus type scenario where we go through a wormhole in the sky, either purposely or accidentally, and we end up in the past or the future. But then why would we just be in Lumio City? And it seems very futuristic, it seems very forward in a timeline, so I'm not too sure if that's going to work the same. Maybe this is going to be completely different, and maybe we should just wait and see what the trailers in the future release. But I just want to keep speculating. I'm really interested to see what people think the storyline's going to be. Are we going to get new megas or are we going to get the same megas? Is that Pokedex going to be huge or tiny? How is the Pokedex going to work? How are wild encounters going to work? It's just going to be really interesting to see how Pokemon Legends ZA comes together. Definitely let me know down below what your thoughts and what your opinions are going to be. What do you think the storyline for Pokemon Legends ZA is going to be? I'm just really excited we're going back to Kalos, and if it's in the past, in the future, or a completely different time zone, I'm just happy we're going back to Kalos because X and Y are some of my favorite games, and hopefully the art style is quite similar because they're some of the most beautiful games that I've played. I've been playing a Nuzlocke recently on Twitch on X and Y, and it's just really good to go back and revisit some of those old memories. But yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.